You work out. It's almost like you deplete yourself. Who says that? Who says, I so enjoyed the last 6 miles? It's far better to be slightly undertrained than even the slightest bit overtrained when you arrive on the start line. And they develop spinal strength through this motor pattern of joy. When you run on the earth and with the earth, you run forever.
Welcome to the Visionary podcast, where we discuss science, medicine, physical health, and mental well-being. Yeah, you're obviously an authority on self-discovery. How many Ironman? Do we say Ironmans or Ironmen?
Ironmans.
Ironmans.
I think it's because
I'm not sure about it.
Yes, the product, the franchise, the product is Ironman.
Ironman, it's trademarked. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Yeah.
How many have you?
I've done 8.
8, including the hardest Ironman in the world in Spain.
It's considered, yes. It's said it's Lanzarote is considered the hardest bar Kona, which is the World Championships in Hawaii.
Yes.
So both sort of lava field, volcanic type environments, fairly brutal, hot, windy.
You faced extreme conditions there, including how many loose stops? I think you corrected me there. What did that experience taught you about human potential?
Well, that in the words of Ironman, anything is possible. So it was magnificent to be part of that world. On my very first Ironman, which was Austria, the reason I did Lanzarote the next year was because somebody asked, which one did you do? And I went, Austria. Oh, the soft one.
How very condescending.
And it was, okay, well, let's go find a hard one then, if you think that's so soft. So on the first one, I was beaten by somebody 3 decades older than me at the time. I met him in the athletes' village after the finishing line. So 3 decades older than me. He beat me by 3 hours.
That's a lot.
And you think, wow. So it's very humbling. It's a great leveler. The thing about going very far is we tap into the thing that humans do best, which is keep going.
Yes.
It's the thing that we do best. We can just keep going. If you sprint, you can only sprint for so far, and then you'll sort of collapse in a heap exhausted. If you pace yourself, you literally can keep going. I think the record crossing the desert with no nutrition, no water, is 9 days. 9 days.
I believe that.
They kept going. Yeah. They were a walking skeleton with a black tongue. They were fully recovered, no lasting impact apart from maybe, the memory of it, which would probably be fairly traumatic, but no physical, no organ damage. The skin returned to normal. The mouth, the tongue returned to normal. The frame that he lived in, everything returned to normal.
Yeah, he probably didn't panic and exhaust his mental and emotional capacity. He kept going slowly with preserving energy, kind of thing. Yeah, I'm a big faster. I fast for 3 days when I can. So I totally believe that. But going back to the dude who beat you with 3 hours, are you trying to tell me that age is irrelevant in achieving running efficiency?
Irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant.
Utterly of no consequence at all.
I'm assuming that you have done something right or better than others in these races. What do you think that was?
So we're talking, 14. I think my fastest was 13 hours, 14 minutes or something like that.
That's so remarkable.
All day. At the slowest was 15 hours and all day. So invariably I'm finishing in the dark. So it wasn't that I was doing anything better than anybody else. I wasn't last, but I'm sort of towards the back for sure, because I'm just enjoying myself as much as I can. My goal was to finish looking as relaxed and as organized as I started.
Helen, hearing you saying that, I can't help laughing. When I finish my 1 hour run, I look devastated and I'm hunched over and I'm huffing and puffing and not like an agile horse or anything like that. So I totally get the need that, and I wish I looked better for vanity reasons, right?
Well, it's not even just vanity. I know that if I gave in to how I felt, tired, exhausted, nauseous, needing it to finish, but I'm not done yet. I'm not finished yet. The finishing line isn't there yet. If I'm going to make it as easy as possible, I have to hold form. I have to. So I was holding form, looking to all intents and purposes the same as the start of the marathon, which arrives after you've cycled 112 miles, which happened after you've swum 2.4 miles. So you've swum quite a long way, you've cycled for most of the day, then you start your marathon. So if I collapse in a heap, I'm going to make that marathon even harder. And that's all it is. It's even harder. It's hard enough. So I know how to use my body as well as my experience has shown me, and I'm still learning. I've had many surgeries, and so I've got all sorts of closed doors and open doors and whatever else, and I'm still working on my body, and I still haven't reached my peak. So it is this exploration of, okay, my legs feel tight, I'll run with my arms. And so my entire focus is on the upper body movement. Or I feel myself sagging, I'm going to push with my tongue, and my tongue will lead me. I need to walk for a bit. So I'll...
you allow yourself to walk while you're running.
Every single run I go on, there is walking. Every single one.
Hi, I'm Hella, your host today. If you're enjoying what you see, please hit that lovely subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me and my team. Or maybe it's more now. We're still learning, we're still finding our feet, but with your support, we can build this channel. Let's take this journey together, one step at a time. Thank you so much for being part of it. You know, when I run, I do only 1 hour and I time myself. And I know this is not right or ideal, but I never allow myself to walk. If I do, I feel like I failed myself. I failed my body. I failed my country.
So, and where did that come from?
Our obsession, modern obsession with metrics and performance, you know, that's where
I worked with a wonderful lady who came to see me. She had 2 weeks left before the marathon, and she hadn't been able to run for ages because of her Achilles. And it was not a difficult help. So we were able to deal with the Achilles issue really quite easily, but she hadn't done the training. So I said, okay, so this weekend, you've got 2 weeks to go. This weekend, I think try, say, 11 miles. So get into double digits, just over double digits. And she was trying to qualify for some kind of championship, and she had to get in. She was in her 60s, and she had to get in underneath 4 hours 30. Which is a very reasonable time for a marathon. And that weekend, she did the 11 miles. She couldn't believe it, with freshly from an Achilles injury, which now didn't hurt because of what we were able to do. And she did it on a walk-run strategy. So she had, from memory, I think it was 5 minutes running, 1 minute walking. And she said, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just did that off the back of nothing. And I said, right, okay, so maybe repeat that next weekend, but don't go any further. So because you haven't got the finish, you don't want to arrive on the start line tired. It's far better to be slightly undertrained than even the slightest bit overtrained when you arrive on the start line. The overtraining is what makes people vulnerable. Their immune system is low. They pick up bugs and they don't feel well, and they might pick up an injury, whilst they're doing it.
How do I pick up on that what I'm doing is overtraining? Is there a physiological symptoms like I feel tired or something?
Yes. So, well, all things being equal, your sleep can be affected when you're overtraining. So you'll notice that you're finding it harder to sleep when you're overtraining.
Is it because of heightened cortisol levels? Maybe
could be. Your system is inflamed. So it's the inflammation within the entire system, I think, that has a knock-on effect to all of your chemistry. So, which would include hormones and what can happen, and nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, so that you can get to sleep. So I think it's complex, and I think that inflammation is generally the driver. Inflammation is generally the driver of a lot of chronic stuff. Chronic disease, chronic ill health, chronic injury.
And this could be caused by overtraining.
Yeah, because your system is, when we train, we inflame, we create metabolic waste fluid, we create damage in the system, and that's how we get stronger. So we do it with eyes wide open. We know we're creating damage, but the whole point is then the body rebuilds itself and gets stronger. But you've got to allow it the time to build itself, to rebuild itself. You can't just keep layering on the damage to the system and hope that you're going to get stronger. You're going to get weaker at some point, and something is going to get upset about it. It seems reasonable if it happens, and then you look back. So generally speaking, the signs are with the benefit of hindsight. But you do that enough times, it's giving you information. Whether or not you choose to ignore it or pick up on it is up to you. But the information may not be there initially. You might not know you're overtraining initially because you haven't got enough experience. But if you keep repeating the same thing happens, okay, your body is clearly telling you something.
You're protesting.
Yeah. The next weekend, with 1 week to go, she actually did 17 miles. Because for her to not do it was more stressful, more inflammation, more cortisol, than resting. So she decided, on balance, which is not unreasonable, N equals 1, she knows her best of all. She thought, I'm going to go and do that same walk-run strategy for 17 miles. Then I will feel, if I can do that, I will relax and feel content, and I will go to the start line and perform in the exact same way. And she had, this is quite a few years ago now, she had a piece of paper on her back saying, I'm on a walk-run strategy, so don't get too close because I might be stopping it or going into a walk at any point. And she came in, I'm pretty sure it was 5 minutes walk. It was either 5 minutes run, either 30 seconds or 1 minute walk. And she stuck to it religiously the entire marathon. She came in at 4:19. And she said, I so enjoyed the last 6 miles. Wow. Who says that?
Yeah, no
Who
one
says, I so enjoyed the last 6 miles.
It's amazing. She got into the flow of it.
Yep. And she told, and the whole point of the story was, she had a mate at the running club who was also injured. And she said to him, you've got to do this walk round. You've got to do it. It's amazing. I don't fatigue. My pace stays up. I'm enjoying it more. And he said, I couldn't possibly. I would think I'd failed. But the thing is, he didn't get to the start line. So who failed?
Yes.
This concept that walking on a run is somehow failure. We need to change this narrative. It is so, what's the word? Deleterious?
Deleterious.
It's so negative. It's so disempowering. It's so uncomfortable. It's so unproductive.
Yeah. Are you the one who said that walking is a physiological superpower? I think I read that.
Well, I think that, I don't know if I said something as gorgeous as physiological superpower. I think I might have said it's, along with quite a few other things, it's a superpower. Yeah. It is because
so there's more to it than fitness.
Yes, because it's whole body movement. It's how we get from A to B the most efficiently. If you walk a very, very, very long way and it's only walking, it's really hard work. Yes. And to break into a trot every now and again makes it much easier. Just the same as if you go for a run and you break into a walk every now and again, it's easier. Yes. So it's more about the humanness of different gears. If you go at this pace the whole time, your body is probably going to get quite bored. And as soon as it's bored, it's fatigued. Yeah. And if you go at walk factor 9 for any period of time, your body's going to fatigue. But if you change the gears...
Even cars do.
Even cars change gears. Simon Lessing, who was for quite a few years, he was the world champion at long course triathlon, so Ironman distance. His favorite workout was cruise intervals, which in my book is level 10, the pinnacle of it all. And his favorite workout was 1 kilometer. I call it power on, which is for him, would it be, zone 3 or 4, harder, 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer easier, not walking, but an easier gear, just soft, just relaxed. So it's equal and opposite intervals. And he would be able to keep a high pace for 21 kilometers. That was his favorite workout. It's also one of my favorite ways of training. So you change the gears. Initially, you might do run, walk, equal and opposite. And then you might do gears, a little bit faster run and a nice easy run. A little bit faster run, nice easy run. As you build your training. But initially, walk whenever you want.
Yeah.
When you get your medal at the end of succeeding because you followed your humanness, which likes gear changing, it appears to very much like gear changing. The medal doesn't say, but you walked on this run. There's a medal for you, you ran every step, and here's a medal for you, you didn't run every step. Nobody cares. Yeah. Literally nobody cares, but your body does. Your body cares very, very much. And if we look at how we evolved, we wouldn't have run. We would have, trotted along a little bit, chat, and then holy shamoly, we'd have raced to escape saber-toothed tiger or whatever. And we might have bent down and crouched for a bit to look at some spores and tracking. I'm sounding like I know how to track here, but I've read all about it. So we would have had all of these gear changes naturally. So I think if we're kind to our bodies and we use them in more of a natural way rather than this man-made way of forever looking at the data and mustn't do any walking and this is a run, and it's so structured and unnatural.
You are indeed the queen of efficiency. Now tell us about the term that you coined. I'll let you say it.
Oh, perpetual forward motion.
Okay.
So me and my husband were musing about what to call what I was trying to share with as many people as would listen. And it couldn't be Helen Hall's anything because that's a nonsense. This is an innate movement pattern. So it couldn't be called anything other than something that captured what I feel we are born to be able to do, which is just keep going. Perpetual motion. Perpetual motion, we Googled it and it was already taken. So we're like, oh, okay, let's go forward. So perpetual forward motion. And I like one of my favorite numbers of repetitions when I'm helping somebody is 3. And by the end of a session, and a session with me is 5 hours. So at the end of a session, somebody, they'll be grinning when I say, and would you believe you need to do 3? So the first repetition will always be, a little bit ropey because we're wiring, we're making neuronal connections that didn't exist. So the first one will be a little bit all over the place. The second will be better. The third will be your best stop. Because if you keep going, the brain will shut off because now you're going into a rhythmical movement. So
that's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just the brain's not paying any attention now.
Okay.
So it's not learning now. It's not learning. It's
due
just
to the habituation.
You're going into a rhythmical movement, and you won't be doing it in the neuronal connection new way. You'll be doing it in whatever way already exists within your system, and we're trying to change that. As soon as you get into rhythm, you have to be very careful about, well, is this the rhythm that I need to promote within my system? Is this good for me? Or am I actually trying to change something within my brain? In which case, I really need to stop while the going is good. Always stop on a neurological win.
Yes. You don't like the word exercise. They say movement, motion, but you'd never said exercise.
Yeah, no, I never exercise.
No. Why is this reframing important? Why does it matter?
It's a very good question. And does it matter? In me, the word exercise sounds very dull, very laborious, boring. I might go for a run. I might train, because training sounds exciting. What is the training today? Am I pushing a wheelbarrow or a sled? Am I hanging, pulling? Am I on the bike? Am I running? Am I doing hills? So it's drills and training. Yes, you're right. I didn't even know I didn't use the word exercise, but even even saying the word exercise, oh no.
It doesn't feel right.
No, it feels like too much like hard work.
I read that you were inspired by something to create this concept of perpetual forward motion. It's a proverb. Would you like to share it with us?
When you run on the earth and with the earth, you run forever. And it's a Ramurai, I don't know if I pronounced that right, proverb.
We are increasingly sedentary and so unwilling to move. I work out every day, every single morning, but my God, do I drag myself to do it? Because I know I have to, so I do it. How do I reclaim that innate confidence to want to move?
So that's really interesting, the word that you use then. You work out.
You work out.
Yeah.
Solving a problem, troubleshooting, kind of thing.
Wow. Yeah. So you work out every day.
You work out. Yeah, I do every single morning.
So that's an interesting word to use to frame. You work out. It's almost like you deplete yourself. You work out until it's just all gone. I'm doing my workout.
That's exactly what the language says. Exactly. It's work and out of my system.
How about you just move? I'm going to spend some time looking after myself. I'm not working out. I'm not exercising.
No, that's not the mindset here. Unfortunately, I have to be honest. Yeah, I do it because I have to do it, because I know it's good for me. And I do feel better after I do it, but all through, it's not easy. It's not spontaneous. It's not something that I'm going to do intermediate Pilates with weights now. No, I don't celebrate it.
It's so, so then I'd be, why? So all I would say is, if it's not what you're calling it, which sounds very dull and very, very hard, if you're not enjoying even the thought of it, even though you know that the aftermath, you'll feel better. So with this empirical consistency of evidence that you feel better after, you still don't actually want to do it. So the question is, why? What about it do you not like?
If I have to think really hard and deep, and this is more of a psychological thing, and really be super honest with myself, life is difficult and I have lots and lots of things to do. I think, okay, I want to work. I want to answer the 15 emails that I need to answer and to do all the tasks and preserve energy, physical energy and mental energy. I know it's all rubbish. I know it's not ideal, but in order to do that other thing, and sometimes I even tell myself, oh, what a waste of time. It comes to that because I have so many other things to do.
But I don't think that is a bad thing. I think that that's a very logical...
I do that thing instead of running or instead of working out in the morning.
So you know that you feel better after the workout. If you substituted the workout for the 15 emails, would you feel better?
Absolutely not. Sometimes I'm lazy and I say, oh, I'm not going to do that now. I've done it over the last 5 days. I'm going to do something different. And I take my laptop out while my child is asleep, 5 o'clock in the morning. And no, I don't feel better. No.
So then it can't be that then. So even though you think it's that, It can't be that, because you know you won't feel better. Even though you think, I can't do this, I've got too much to do, I want to do this instead of that. But you know you're not going to feel as good as if you moved. So then it's probably something to do with how it feels when you move. So when you're moving, when you're doing the exercise, how does it feel during the exercise, during
If I
your
have to
movement?
think really, really, really hard and be honest with myself, it's probably lack of patience. Without testing myself, I know that I have something like ADHD. And when I work out, it's systemic, it requires patience. It's repetition, and my brain can't take it well enough. I want to do something different.
So then is it the choice of activity that isn't suiting your personality?
I do a mix of things. I do intermediate Pilates with weight. I do lift weight in itself. Sometimes I do HIIT, but it's not convenient HIIT while my child is asleep, because it's jumping up and down. It causes the whole thing to move. So maybe something different for me would suit my personality better.
Have you ever tried jiggling on, back in the day we would call them trumpettes, and these days I think they're called rebounders?
No, having said that, I don't get the same feeling when I'm running, because I run in like outdoors, so there are different sceneries, and I watch people and I look at others, people say hi, so I'm not as, let's say, bored. There's something, variety and tickling of the senses more. So maybe that's my thing. So it needs a lot of investigation and thinking.
And of course, it's not always convenient to go for a run if you are, a parent.
I'm a single parent.
And you've got to be, there. So you have to pick your times to be able to be free to go for your run and be outside. So if you were inside, I think that one of the most fun things anybody can do, and that is most efficient in getting the job done, because you know me now, you know that I love efficiency. So if I jiggle on the rebounder for 10 minutes, it is fun. It puts a smile on your face. It is unbelievable. And they've known since about the 60s of its benefits with the lymphatic system. I think these days they're now having all sorts of research done, benefits for osteoporosis, all sorts of stuff. But you're not bouncing, you're jiggling. So you're barely leaving. So it wouldn't make any noise. You don't have to have high ceilings because you're barely leaving the surface of the rebounder. And it's brilliant recovery from runs. It's brilliant calf conditioning for running, because if you can jiggle for 2 minutes right from the get-go, I applaud you. Most people can't, and they have to spend some time going from one foot to the other, and then they can go back to jiggling 2 feet together. But it is, you are moving everything.
Yes.
Everything is moving. And they've known the benefits of jiggling on a trumpet or a rebounder since the first astronauts in space. So what we didn't see on the television, on the black and white televisions when all this was happening, was that the astronauts were coming down looking like sausages. Because there was no gravity, and so some of their metabolic waste fluid and fluids had exuded out into the tissues, and they were sort of veritable little sausages. And then they would jiggle on the rebounders, and the lymphatic system would then take it all away, and they would shrink back to size quickly. So I would just listening to you there, I'm thinking, and your 9-year-old would love it too.
Probably.
So you'd be fighting for time on the rebounder. And I think that rebounding, there was a resurgence. Back in the day, everybody had a trumpet, but it sort of lost, these things go in cycles. And that it's coming back again now. So they're widely available in all sorts of places, because of the background research that's been emerging with the release, because you're moving everything, the release of the endorphins. I think as soon as you're leaving the ground, so you're leaving the ground repetitive over and over again, and within our skull, there's the sphenoid bone, which is the most remarkable. They call it looks like a bat. I think it looks like the most exquisite butterfly. And it's the most complex bone in the human body. And it forms the back of the eyeballs and the top of the sinuses, and it interacts with the most other bones in the skull compared to any other bone. So when a baby pre-crawling is on its tummy, it will sort of do a sky diving position.
Yes.
the legs and the arms up, extending the spine. And they call it the landau.
So cute.
And it is very cute. And this landau is, of course, part of the evolvement of our spinal extension and the strength of our spinal erectors. And the infant will giggle and laugh when they do it because they get a release of dopamine. So as this happens, the sphenoid bone lifts. I've just given myself a facelift. It feels great. So the sphenoid bone lifts. They get a dose of dopamine. So they do it again and again and again and again. And they develop spinal strength through this motor pattern of joy. That's what it's known as, the motor pattern of joy.
Oh, amazing.
So when somebody isn't enjoying movement, then I will always find a way to, can we lift that sphenoid? Are they being crushed under the weight of their brains in their skull and the sphenoid is being squished? Are they not getting their dopamine hit? We don't need to go for a run, although obviously if we can, I think the runner's high is all about this lifting and the release in our system as we leave the ground. But we can do it in the comfort of our home without needing a babysitter on a little trumpet.
Absolutely.
Nothing fancy required because you're not bouncing, you're jiggling.
Yes.